Hi everyone, welcome back to my second channel. It feels really good to be saying this. It has been a minute, so I apologize for that. It has. And I've actually been getting a lot of comments on my streams or videos I'm posting like on my main channel being like, when's the next second channel video? And I think I always kind of just look at this channel as like, no one's gonna see it. So it always goes to the back of my priorities. But this morning, it's currently 5:14 in the morning on Wednesday the 24th, so it's, you know, Wednesday morning. I keep thinking it's like Tuesday or something. I'm sitting out on my balcony right now, and the water is just really beautiful. We didn't really have a sunrise moment today, but it was, you know, still beautiful nonetheless. Anyway, so I was like, I'm about to go to bed. I just took all my bins down. I love taking all my bins down to our like basement room in the apartment complex really like late at night, but like on the brink of like early morning for people, and there's no one in the lifts. I can go up and down. Love it. Speaking of that, I was talking to one of my friends today about like apartment living, and it's been really interesting because for the past like month our like apartment complex elevator has been like breaking and like working and breaking and working. So like for every week there's probably 5 days it doesn't work, but then it'll work for 2 of the days. And so this has been going on for like a month, and I live pretty high up in the apartment building, so I'm having to like walk up and down this, you know, flights of stairs every single day, like multiple times a day. And it just got me thinking whenever I was speaking to one of my friends that like, wow, I really haven't experienced anything that hasn't been like apartment living. In like 2021 I had a house kind of like on the outskirts of like Brighton, but I ended up not really wanting to live there or feeling safe or whatever, so then that situation got dealt with. I just kind of always realized that, oh, I always feel safe now in apartments, and it's all I really know. And whenever I was speaking to my friend about it, he's only ever lived in like student houses, you know, living with like a lot of other people, which is something obviously I don't have really any experience with. Okay, work. Or, you know, that like house on its own kind of thing. That concept really terrified me whenever I was presented with it, with that house. And you know, I was there for like a few weeks. Actually, I was there for a few months, and everything that went wrong in my life happened to me whenever I lived there. So if you don't know, like 2 years ago, for a couple months I lived in a house in Brighton and then had my apartment on this side, because seeing which one I wanted to live at more. And once I lived in the house, everything went wrong for me from the day I like got the keys. And it's actually like a situation in my life I look back on that I never talk about, or like it's one of those moments that like really like traumatizes me still to talk about. It's so weird, but I know people have it in their lives. Basically everything went wrong, like I said. So I got the keys for the house, and immediately all of my like apartment like electrical things blow. They all go out, like all of my lights, my heating, my water, my oven, my everything. My apartment was kind of fucked up for like a couple weeks. Then I got COVID, which was awful. And then, oh my god, I've never talked about this online, but okay, so there was a situation with that house in that area that was really bad with like fleas and bed bugs and stuff like that. So then all of the animals got fleas, and I was getting fucked with like bed bugs and then fleas on top of it. And then while that was happening, I got COVID, and I was put in the ambulance on one of those days or something like that because I was really struggling to breathe. It was like really like COVID time still or whatever. All of that happened within the space of a couple months in this like house. So I look back on that time period and never really speak about it. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is because that's been my only experience living in a house on my own. Everything else has been in my apartment, and I'm so grateful I never gave up my apartment at that stage and that I'm still able to be here. I just feel comfortable in an apartment. I feel like there's people around me. I feel like there's a community, even if I don't see them every day, or even if I don't fucking know who any of my neighbors are, but like there's like a sense of comfortability in it. So let me know if you've had any experience in like different living situations, and which one, you know, you feel more comfortable in, or feels more home to you, or whatever. So I'd love to continue that conversation. Me and my friend had a very like interesting, in-depth conversation where he was saying he wouldn't want to be in an apartment, and I was saying like I would not want to be in an apartment, and then we were talking about like just it was interesting, right? So anyway, I've been doing good. Oh, I've been doing good. It sounds like it's laughing at me. Other than something really, really weird. And I wonder if anyone else struggles with this, but I'm like kind of struggling right now with like my presence socially, like on social media. Like I really don't like posting pictures anymore, nor do I like the concept of me having photos up on like Instagram or whatever. Like it feels weird now. I've been like crazy overthinking social media the past few weeks, where I'm like, wait, I've posted, you know, hundreds of photos. People must be like, oh my god, he's so weird, he has hundreds of photos posted on Instagram. And then I was like, wait, maybe I shouldn't post this many because maybe all of these photos are ugly. And then I like spent like ages a couple weeks ago like going through all my Instagram photos and being like, ugh, hideous, 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 hideous. And I ended up archiving every single post on my Instagram. Like I literally was doing it like an hour ago as well. Like I literally have deleted, or not deleted, but archived like all of my Instagram photos and all of my tagged photos, because I was like, oh my god, I'm like cringing at the fact of my Instagram. Like I'm cringing at my social media presence on Instagram right now. Like this feels a lot. And I'm always someone who's like, yeah, post everything. And it's literally just something I've been feeling for the past couple weeks, and I know it'll go away, but I've been literally just cringing at the idea of me on social media, and that like I'm perceivable, and that has been kind of like soaking into like my everyday life as well. I've been like kind of feeling very aware of myself in social situations, and I'm like very aware of like my impact on other people, and I'm very aware of other people's impact on me now. Like I'm becoming very, very, very aware and very like uncomfortable with my like physical like existence, being able to comprehend that I'm like a person posting on social media. It just feels like, oh my god, what are people thinking? Like, what are people thinking that like my Instagram had like hundreds of photos, most of them being like with my friends and stuff like that, but like, oh my god, then people must be like, oh my god, that's so weird to have that many posts, or you love yourself, or you're, you know, so conceited. And I was like getting in my own head like, oh my god, this is what people think. So I ended up like going through my photos being like, oh no, 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 bitch, I deleted everything. Do you know I was doing that for like 3 hours? Like it was crazy. And then I was looking at my Instagram now and I was being like, oh, I have no photos. Well, I mean, I can put them back on my account, like you can just unarchive them, but I was like, wait, what? And I was like, wait, what's the purpose of this? Like, I want to be mysterious? When have I ever wanted to be mysterious? Mysterious does not go with my brand. I love oversharing, I love posting. And then I was like, oh my god, I just deleted all my photos for nothing. But I think it's like a genuine thing. I've like really, really, really been struggling with it, and it's only been Instagram. Like, I don't care about Twitter, I don't care about YouTube, I don't care about like TikTok or anything like that. Like, I love posting on all of them. But Instagram for me, it just kind of was like, oh my god, like, is it embarrassing that people know that I wanted to like post all these pictures? And then I was like, oh my god, like, people can like scroll back and see photos from like just literally only on Instagram. So just working through that right now, and I'm gonna start putting photos back on my page like soon. But like, it's just super weird. It's like only that social media platform I'm like, I struggle with my presence on it. It makes me feel like posy, which it is, and I never feel that way whenever I look at anyone else on Instagram, but I'm self-conscious that people are thinking it of me. So that's what happened there. Anyway, I thought just like being aware of your existence can like freak you out in a bit, or your presence, whether it is, you know, like being around people in real person or on social media. So anyway, that's what we've been feeling recently. So if you see my Instagram completely wiped, that's why. I'm really, really, really excited though, because there's like a lot of really fun things coming up for me in my life. I have my mum coming out this weekend, family in Brighton. Finally, oh my god, I never get my family members to like my apartment. It's always like me going home. So like getting my mum out this weekend, and then we're going to 2 nights of Beyonce in London, the 29th and 30th. And then next month is June, which is fucking crazy. I feel like May was a lot for me. I'm gonna be honest. May was a lot for me. May kind of took me out a little bit at times. But May went so quick, and so we're in summer now, so June, July, August. And then in June, I don't know what's happening in June. I feel like I have, going to Pink, and then probably going to Blackpink, going to Gwen Stefani. I feel like there's other things in June I'm forgetting. But anyway, the main thing is in July, the very end of June, start of July, me and my mom are going to LA, which always is chaos every year. So, oh my god, I'm getting an annual trip to LA now. Like, I've been to LA 3 years in a row. That is crazy. 2022, 2021, 2023. Oh my god, I've been in LA 3 times? Well, going to be 3 times. I would have never thought that. That's bizarre to me. That is so bizarre to me. Once a year for the past 3 years I've been in LA. Like, that is so bizarre. And the memories from each of those trips. 2021, that trip to LA, one of the best, probably the best experience of my entire life. Going by myself at, what was I, 19? Going by myself at 19, fucking 13 hours across the globe, and staying with my friend I had never met before, and leaving my, like, family and friends on a time zone that was very inconvenient to speak to them every day, so I kind of just didn't speak to them for that time. And then, just everything that happened in that LA 2021 trip, it was the most incredible time of my life. And it is like, you don't ever hear like old people being like, it was the summer of '69. That'll be me. It was the November of 2021. Just everything about that trip was absolutely just glorious to me. It was so independent. It was so, sorry, it was a really loud boat. It was just peak independence, confidence, but not really confidence, just like ignorance. To be confident, to do that. And then to think that after that LA trip, my first time ever in America, I fly from LA to New York, just because, and then I go to New York for the first ever time for a couple days, and then I come home again. So that was the first time. The second time, oh my goodness, bringing my mom to LA for the first time. We go to like Universal, Disney, Venice Beach, all these different things, then going to VidCon with my friends and the VidCon after parties and stuff. And then this year, Lord only knows, I'm hoping for a peaceful trip. But I hoped for a peaceful trip last year, and you know, always stuff happens. So we will see. Either way, I'm so excited. I'm like planning it out in my head right now. We're going for like 11 days or something like that, or 12 days. I'm just thinking already, like, I'm thinking Disneyland twice. Not even a question. Because me, my mom, Kat, and her girlfriend are going to Disney on the end of the trip, and we're gonna go with them to that. But then I was like, Mom, when else do we ever have the experience to go to Disneyland twice in one trip? Let's go to Disneyland at the start of the trip, then at the end of the trip. So I'm just like beaming right now because I'm so excited for like what's to come. The start of the year was so shitty for me, and there's been just a lot of personal shit going on, and there's been even more stuff whenever it came to losing Tyler and stuff. Really not the best start of the year. And then I developed like very unhealthy coping mechanisms with like my animals, where like I didn't want to be away from them ever because I felt that they were all going to die like Tyler. So then I didn't leave my house for like the entire start of the year, and I feel like I'm finally starting to get my groove back, where like I like going and traveling, and I like going and filming, and I like going, you know, and doing all this. So I'm so excited for LA. So yeah, I'm thinking of like Disney twice, cause why not? My bank is screaming, let me tell you that. But I haven't booked anything, but I just booked the hotel finally. I'm thinking Venice Beach. I'm thinking Universal Studios. I'm thinking just, well, a day in Beverly Hills. Like, who is this? Who is this speaking? So anyway, I'm looking forward to that. And then also, my birthday this year is my 21st, which means nothing in the UK, but in America means everything. So I'm like, I think I'm gonna go back to New York for my birthday. I was gonna go to Vegas, which I've never been, and like party it up, but then I was thinking I just love New York so much, and I wouldn't have been in New York since December, so almost a year. Oh my god, that makes me sad. But even that, being able to say, like, I've went to New York a couple times, like, oh my god, I used to just dream of that. It, like, had posters of New York, like, all over my room and stuff. So I'm thinking for my 21st to go to New York, and my birthday's also on a weekend, so, that'll be good. And I'm thinking of going for a couple days, and then, Mariah Carey is going to be doing her Christmas concerts again in December at Madison Square Garden, so I think I'm gonna go to New York again, in December. This is what I do. I kind of look at my year ahead like this, and then if things change, I change with them. And then I like to go to Paris end of year. But oh my god, wait. I'm going to Paris with my friend Joy in November. We're going to see Madonna. And then me and my mom are seeing Madonna in November in London. I need to remember that, because I just booked that Paris trip. Which was so weird to book a trip that was in like November, because I never normally book trips to Paris like that far in advance. I normally just like, let's go. But I can't wait to go back to Paris, hopefully really soon. Actually, this week I'm paying my apartment payment for 6 months, so that'll be me renewing for another 6 months. But once that payment comes out of my account, I can kind of relax and be like, okay, I have security in a home right now I can look to see if I want to, you know, book trips or whatever. I'm just really excited to go to Paris, again, because if you know or you watch my videos, when I go to Paris, it's the most... Well, the trips can either go one of two ways. I can go to Paris and it can be the most peaceful, serene, waking up every day at 7 a.m, in a coffee shop by 8 a.m, going for a walk, staying in a picnic center, just going around cafes, drinking orange juice and eating a lot of bread. And then going to the Eiffel Tower by night, and then, you know, bedtime by midnight. Or I go to Paris, and it's the most feral... I mean, waking up at 2 p.m, going to dinner, drinking wine at dinner, going to a wine bar, going to a bar, going to a strip club, going to a nightclub, going to another bar, and then red wine at your hotel again. The trips go one of two ways. And I can promise you, I never know how the trip is gonna go until I get to Paris. Because once I get to Paris, something in my brain goes off. And it'll either be like, or it'll be like, angel or, you know, devil. And I'll be like, ooh, even, no matter what time of the day it is, it could be night, I could be like, ooh, I wanna go to a cafe and get a Caesar salad and Diet Coke. Or, if I go, ooh, I might go for some, you know, spaghetti and a glass of red wine. If I say a glass of red wine, we're fucked. I'm not going home until 5 a.m. I'm literally not gonna get back those hotel doors until 5 a.m. And that also reminds me of one of the last times I was in Paris. I went out clubbing, all by myself, by the way, literally not with anyone. And what was I saying? Oh, so I get back to the hotel at like 5 a.m. or something, and the doors are like shut, and they don't have a key thing where you can like put the key on, it opens the doors, and I'm like just on the door, and I think I have a video of this, like knocking, there was no sign of light. I'm like knocking, and then I like sit outside the hotel door, and then I hear like 5 minutes later, and he goes, and I go, and he lets me in, and he goes, ooh, like, you're very late. And I was like, did you not, like, why was I left literally lying on the ground to get in? But then he went back to his desk and he like put his head back, so I think he was sleeping. I just remember that night, it always stands out to me as like crazy. God, I just love Paris. And regardless of what the trip is, I just always have, even if I got wine drunk every night, I will come back from the trip and I'll be like, ooh, I feel really well rested. There's something about Paris that just, it is the ultimate form of like escapism for me. I feel like it's complete escapism. Whenever I go to New York or LA or basically any other country that I've been to or city, I get a sense of like I'm here for this amount of days, or I here for 3 days or 2 days or whatever. I'm very conscious of the fact that I'm on a trip. I'm very conscious of the fact that I have things to be doing even though I'm on a trip, or my flight schedule back, whatever. Whenever I get to Paris, it is just an ultimate form of like escapism. I do not care about my phone. I do not care about what is going on in anything other than what's the next cafe I'm gonna go to, even if I'm just drinking like coffees. It is unlike any other city I've experienced. And I've been to Paris with people. I've been with my mum. Is that the only person I've been to Paris with? Yeah, with my mum. And it's always a completely different experience whenever I go with another person, because I'm very cautious of the fact that I don't want to like push someone else to have to like sit at a cafe for an extra hour if they don't want to, or stay in a museum an extra hour because I want to take photos with everything, or sit at the park until like 1 a.m. to see the final firework Eiffel Tower display go off. And I don't want to push that on someone and then ruin their trip. So whenever I go to Paris with someone else, I'm always a little bit more what do you want to do, whatever, because I know that for me it's like I take the piss out of it, you know what I mean? Like Jesus sitting at a coffee shop for like 4 hours, like time and place, you know what I mean? Time, now, when, job, like seriously. But anyway, I'm very excited for all that, and just to kind of have things to look forward to again. But yeah, that's really been what's going on right now. Other than that, friend group, everything's been going good. No drama really. Relationships, I have been going on dates, which is something that I'm doing for a specific reason. I'm going on dates right now, and I went on a date yesterday and I went a couple days ago, right? And one of them I've actually been on a couple dates with. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm trying my hardest to not get so like emotionally attached whenever I'm talking with people. So if I'm talking to multiple people, then I have to split my attention. I'm not being a player or anything like that. I'm literally just going on dates. Don't you worry. And you're allowed to, go on a date, Tuesday with someone, then go on a date on Wednesday with someone else. Nothing's official, nothing's whatever, you're literally going on dates. And I've been doing this because I've been like, I think I need more male friends that I'm not, like, how do I want to phrase that? Because I had this conversation with one of my friends. Oh, like, I want more, like, male friends around me who are, like, we like have banter and it's not like a relationship or anything like that, because I feel that whenever I experience that, I like latch onto that so much where I'm like, oh, this is so different than me and my friends. So I feel like I kind of need like friends around me that are kind of like expose me to that, if that makes any sense. So that's why I've been enjoying like just like going on dates and like having fun, rather than anything where I'm like, I'm going on several dates with this person or whatever, just like having fun. And like I was at a bar a couple nights ago, my friend was like, have you ever met my friend, said the name, whatever, and I was like, no, whatever, and they were like, oh, like, I've, sorted it out, and like 2 days later, that was the person that I went on a date with. And then the next night I went to a club, and then I met someone, and we were talking, do you want to go to coffee? They were finishing an exam. We did that the next day, like nothing serious, you know what I mean, like literally just that. But I feel like it's been like doing me a world of good, because it's been making me just like realize that, oh, this is like very normal human interaction. I feel like because a lot of my girls are like, or a lot of my friends are girls, I don't really experience anything other than just having like a best friend who's like a girl, yes, work, slay or whatever, and then so there's not that many guy friends around me, so they get so devoted to my time. I need to, basically what I'm saying is, I give the girls so much attention, I need to start giving the guys a lot of attention as well. So then, whenever I go on dates with someone I really like, I don't feel so emotionally attached. Because I've, had a lot of experience the same way I would with girls. If that makes any sense. I'm really not making sense right now, but if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. Oh, something I wanted to talk about is, I really, really, really know that everyone and their mother has a podcast, but I really, really, really do want to start one. And I think the reason I want to start one is because I just have so many things that I like want to say, like whether it's on stream or on videos or whatever, but I feel the need to cut myself off whenever I talk about them, you know, because I'm like, oh, I'm going on a tangent or whatever. And I was like, I just want a podcast where I can like go on tangents and I don't have to feel that I have to get back to an original point, or yes, we'll get back to the video we're reacting to, sorry, like my tangent was so boring for you, whatever, like that. I want to do that, but then also I like the idea of mixing it in with like the amount of like interesting people I know and like interviewing them or like having conversations with them. Like the amount of drag queens I know is insane. Not even that, the amount of drag queens I'm really close friends with is insane, who live in Brighton, who all have insane stories. Oh my god, having them on. I know one of my friends, as they're a TikToker, and their TikToks, you know, have such a message behind them, and you know, they're a very like motivational person on TikTok, and like talking to them about that. And I know someone called Ed, and they're really funny on TikTok, and they make the funniest impressions of people, and you know, there's stuff like that. And it's like, oh my god, I know like, you know, singer-songwriters, and I know, you know, I think it would be really interesting. And so I was like, I'm trying to like think of like a vibe and like a name for it. What I am thinking is getting a photo shoot done for like general social media, which is ironic talking about the Instagram point, but like trying to make myself, you know, feel like I'm doing, you know, myself good, because I always just feel like I'm a lazy, you know, person, and you know, I'm really not doing anything, and I'm like my biggest critique in that. But I feel like if I do like a photo shoot or something like that, I'll be like, wow, that was really professional and really like business of me. So I'm thinking of doing that, and maybe I would like tie that in with like a podcast or something. I was thinking like the background would be like, you know, whenever you go for school photos, and it would be like that ugly like bluey gray, like that. It's like a cool outfit, like multiple cool outfits, like maybe cool earrings, because I can have earrings now. So thinking of doing that. The final point I want to talk about is kind of something that has been like really on my mind recently. So there was a girl in Derry, where I'm from, who lost her life a couple nights ago when she was walking home from a night out. And she wasn't someone I knew personally necessarily, but she was someone I knew from a friend of a friend. So I've been seeing the amount of tributes and, you know, friends writing their, you know, last words to her and stuff, and it really made me think, like, because I have her on social medias and stuff like that, like, you know, when you see someone like posting about a night out or something, you expect them to get home. Or if someone posts about a vacation, you expect them to, you know, go on it and get home safely. Or if someone is, you know, as simple as going to a supermarket, you expect them to get the groceries and come home, or going to a cafe, you know, getting the bus, then coming back. Or, you know, that poor girl, you know, went on a night out, and she got ready for that night out, and she didn't come back from that night out. And, you know, she didn't know that when she was walking out of that nightclub, she didn't know whenever, you know, she was going in it. And it's just like, life is so just terrifying. And I don't necessarily want to call it terrifying, because like, it's just so, I don't even know the word for it, like, unpredictable, that like, you could say, you know, you're terrified of life because, oh my god, look at that, like, just innocent people whose lives, like, had so much left and stuff being taken. And then it's like, just, so to say you're terrified of it, it's like, oh, you could use that then to like enjoy every day, because like how, you know, it could be over. And it's like, god, you never really think about it until you're like prefaced with it. Like, this girl, you know, same age as me, just like doing what, you know, I would do on a regular night out, and like, just that poor girl. And like, oh, my, everything goes out to her family and friends. I cannot even imagine what they're going through or what they're feeling. And it's just a really like devastating notion. And like, you never know, like, you never know, like, that's how unpredictable it all is. And it's just, it's terrifying. Like, as much as I want to sit here and be like, you know, it's unpredictable or whatever, it's terrifying. And again, I'm just sending her family and friends like all of my love, and Derry as well. Like, when you lose someone in your community, everyone feels it. Like, literally, it is a community. And, you know, oh my god, the amount of people that knew that girl, and they, you know. So it's been really on my mind. Just about like every day. Like, I've been kind of like attitude checking myself recently, and I know it's valid to feel certain ways, or valid to, you know, it's fine. But like, I've been kind of like attitude checking myself recently, where I'm like, okay, either deal with this or, you know, whatever. Like, deal with whatever you're feeling right now, or you're pissed off or whatever, because like, you have it so good. And I want to say that to you because, like, you know, some days it's hard. Oh, whether it's struggles with relationships, friends, family, job, money, school, college, anything, like, that's only that brief moment, and there's just like so much more to come, and you just never know whenever it's all going to be over. And so do things within those days as well that can benefit you and lift your moods and lift your spirits, whether it's getting a coffee or a donut you really like or something, treating yourself and just living and enjoying it, and or trying to see a good in a situation because you deserve it. Like, no one else deserves it. Like, you deserve it. What is going on? That's really loud. Oh wow, I thought that helicopter was going very fast, but it was just a bird flying. Where is that? I assume it's gonna fly over my apartment because it's getting louder. Oh my god, it's literally just... it's like hovering above our apartment block. It's literally just hovering above our apartment block. Hold on. Sorry, I'm in... it's just hovering. I don't know if you can see, but it's like... right... well, you really can't see, but it's like right there somewhere, believe me, okay? Wait, why is it just doing that? Sorry, I really should be talking to you, man. Okay, it's leaning forward. I hope everything's okay. Oh, it's driving on. Wait, I think it was letting a worker down. Wait, really? Oh, I think it was letting a worker down. Either way, I hope everything's okay. I don't know what that was. Anyway, but I'm gonna head off now because I'm getting tired. It is 6 AM and time for Betty Buys. I hope you all have a beautiful day, and just do something today that like is for you, whether it's a coffee or donut or whatever. I think I'm gonna do that for me today, and I think I'm gonna take myself out for coffee and probably get a manicure if I wake up, because, you know, I need to get this redone because it's starting to come off. But yeah, I'll see you all. Thank you for those who waited for a second channel video or wanted it, and I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.